Well, Manassas, Virginia just got its own game changer, Micron's $2.17 billion investment, and this time we're going to get ahead of the curve. From the hundreds of jobs that are about to be created, the repercussions in the real estate market, we are going to break down everything in this video. All right, so we talk about Micron's $2.17 billion expansion and the core of the investment. Let's start with actually what's happening, and it's simple as this. One of the world's largest semiconductor manufacturers is betting billions on Manassas, and that bet comes with some serious backing. Let's talk about the investment scale, right? Micron Technology is investing $2.17 billion to expand and modernize its facility in Manassas. This is all part of its broader plan to invest $3 billion by 2030 with the aim to create a total of 1,100 new jobs in our area. This expansion has serious government support as well. We're talking about $275 million federal CHIPS and Science Act funding through a preliminary agreement with the U.S. Department of Commerce. The state of Virginia is also stepping in with its own $70 million investment with incentives, and although these still needs legislative approval, this is one of the largest tech manufacturers in the state of Virginia's history. This is really going to be manufacturing focused. This will be Micron's Center of Excellence for long life cycle products, which basically means it will support applications in everything from advanced automotive systems to aerospace and defense technology with the production of advanced DRAM memory chips. These are the components that power everything from autonomous vehicles to industrial automation systems. Essentially, this is the heart of the operation for all of these specialized chips. So now that I've told you all about this major investment, and it's very impressive, right? But I haven't told you anything about why. We'll dive deeper into the economic strategy of the project in a second, right after I tell you exactly how this will impact the people of Manassas. All right, so if you guys know me, you know I love Manassas. My grandfather was a senator here. You've got Manassas High School over, and that's like probably the most beautiful high school in all of the world. Yes, I'm a little biased, and you've got Northern Virginia Community College has their Colgan building, as well as George Mason. Over there, they have Colgan Hall with a beautiful statue of my grandfather. So I love the fact that Manassas is getting all of these new jobs created. Let's talk about the initial impact, right? Initially, the expansion will create about 340 new high-skilled jobs in the immediate phase. The broader $3 billion phase is projected to create 1,100 jobs total by 2030. That's 760 more. On top of that, at peak construction, the project is expected to have 2,700 community jobs. And keep in mind, these are high-tech manufacturing positions in one of the world's most innovative industries. So we're going to talk about the workforce development. To help organize all of this, Virginia Talent Accelerator Program developed by the Virginia Economic Development Partnership and Virginia Community College System will provide customized workforce recruitment and training specifically for Micron's expansion. Northern Virginia Community College and Micron have already launched a registered apprenticeship program in semiconductor manufacturing. These are considered learn and earn pathways for local workers, which I think is great. I mean, anything that you use, right? Like your iPhone, your car, all of that have these smart chips in them. And that's why you're seeing companies like Micron obviously keep blowing up and up, of course. At the same time, Virginia Tech and other universities are collaborating with Micron on engineering, research, and workforce development to support the facility's needs. This means there's complete pipeline from education to employment right here in Northern Virginia, make it one of the best places to build a career in the whole entire industry of technology and microchips. And all of these new jobs aren't just happening in isolation. They're part of a strategic effort to strengthen America's domestic tech production. So let me tell you about that strategy. But first, let me tell you who I am. If we haven't met, my name is Chris Colgan. I am a realtor here in Northern Virginia. Me and my team help people like you all the time buy and sell homes. We have 12 million people watch us a month. If you're thinking about selling, I can get your house in front of 12 million people who watch our content. And if you're looking to buy, we know all of the best deals and the best areas. Email me info@colganteam.com. You can also text me anytime, and you better hit that subscribe button, or I might actually come find you. I probably won't do that, but definitely hit that subscribe button. All right, so we got to talk a little bit about supply chain security and the economic strategy, right? Here's the thing. Much of America's advanced chip production happens overseas. That's an unfortunate fact. So this Manassas expansion is actually part of a national security strategy. You have supply chain impact, right? This expansion is designed to onshore production from overseas, particularly from Taiwan to Virginia. The idea is to strengthen U.S. supply chain security for critical technologies that power everything from military systems to autonomous vehicles. Yeah, it's probably a pretty good idea. I wouldn't be riding in my car that drives itself by a chip. It's made by somebody we don't know who they are, right? So it's awesome that they're doing a lot more of this in America, of course. This would in turn reduce dependence on foreign manufacturing for these essential components. When you hear about global supply chain issues, this is exactly the kind of solution that America is doing to help address them. And we got to bring back some of this critical manufacturing like they're doing here at Micron and Manassas. This will have an immense nationwide nationwide impact, but it's Manassas that stands to gain the most from this because all the money being poured into this project, the city will respond by developing in adjacent areas that benefit everyone. We'll be covering that in a second. I mean, look about it, right? You've got the Manassas Airport, which will have commercial flights next year. You've got all of the growth over at Nova Live, and then Old Town Manassas is obviously going on under a renaissance as well. I absolutely love it for Manassas. Great location if you're thinking about moving there. You've got 234, which you can go up that way west and you can hit up 66, or you can go the other way towards the east end of the county and hit up 95. The location is absolutely killer. And then of course you've got the VRE train right there as well. So you could ride into the Pentagon, the metro system, whatever you want. Manassas really does have a great location. Let's talk about economic and community impact, right? Before we talk about all the real estate opportunities this whole thing will open up, let's talk about that. What could all this mean both for those in the tech and those outside of tech industry, right? As I said, the investment is transforming Manassas into a premier tech manufacturing hub. This first obvious highlight is the growing economy and high wage creation, but I mention it again because it strengthens Manassas' already established base in manufacturing, defense, professional and technical services, and healthcare as well. The city is positioning itself as a leader in the high-tech industry and diversifying its economic base. Some of the community development is absolutely going to be great. This kind of investment typically drives infrastructure improvement, meaning better roads, utilities, and community amenities. The tech boom is expected to drive demand for housing and community services, which we'll talk about next. Manassas is really becoming a regional powerhouse. Manassas is part of the growing Northern Virginia tech corridor, which means it's going to boost the future for investments and growth in the future. So now that we understand the big picture, right, let's talk about what this means typically for the area's real estate market, because it changes here, and I think it's going to be even bigger and better here in the Manassas and Northern Virginia area. History shows us that when high-skilled jobs come to an area, the real estate market tends to follow with a predictable pattern, but only if you know what to look for. So let's talk about the housing market impact, right? First of all, tech jobs usually see increased demand for high-quality housing near employment centers where there is an influx of high-skilled workers. These often drive development and community amenities, and investment in commercial and residential real estate can follow major manufacturing expansions. This gives Manassas a unique value proposition in Northern Virginia market, a combo of that historic charm with high-tech industry. Comparison with like the rest of Northern Virginia, what I mean by this is that compared to other Northern Virginia communities, Manassas offers a different blend of urban and suburban living. The area provides good access to major transportation corridors while maintaining a distinct community identity. It provides option for those working in the tech sector who want something different than your typical Northern Virginia experience. I mean, that definitely makes sense. If you go to the 20112 area of Manassas, you're gonna get 1 to 2 acre lots, but you could also go into downtown Manassas or Old Town Manassas, 20110, and you could walk around town, do whatever. You could go to First Fridays in Old Town Manassas, have a condo, a townhome, or maybe get a 1950s or late 1800s charming historic house. All kinds of different housing options here in Manassas. So what is the future outlook? What exactly should we be looking for? As this expansion progresses through 2030, we're likely to see continued investment in housing and commercial development. The creation of high-skilled jobs typically drives demand for housing at various price points and starter homes from luxury properties. And investors and home buyers who understand this pattern may find opportunities exclusive to the growing market. And you know what the best thing is? This isn't the only major development we are seeing in Northern Virginia. In fact, it's not even the only tech development we are seeing, which is why many are starting to think of the region as the next Silicon Valley. If you want to know all about other these investments, we'll definitely check out this video right here where I talk about Northern Virginia being the next Silicon Valley, which I actually think it really is. And I'm already hearing a ton of people call me from YouTube who are saying they're moving from Silicon Valley to here for a job, which I absolutely love. If you're thinking about moving here to Manassas, Northern Virginia, anywhere in Nova or DMV area, my team and I have helped thousands of buyers just like you. So don't hesitate to reach out at info@colganteam.com. And guys, hit that subscribe button. We would love to work with you and your family.